HYBE furious at Jimin? Jungkook breaks down in tears after sudden incident. What really happened behind the curtain? Seoul, South Korea, in a shocking turn of events that has left the global fanbase in stunned silence. Sources close to BTS reveal that HYBE's management delivered a private yet stern message to Jimin following an unexpected and highly emotional incident. Meanwhile, Jungkook, the youngest member of BTS, was seen visibly crying in public, a moment that has now gone viral and sparked intense speculation. What could have happened that caused such visible fractures in a group known for unity, resilience, and global excellence? Why was Taehyung notably absent during the height of this emotional storm, only to resurface hours later with a cryptic statement? The questions are many, but one thing is certain. Something unfolded behind the scenes that is now shaking the very foundation of BTS's tightly managed image. What was meant to be a routine public appearance for three members of the world's most famous boy band has now turned into a PR crisis so opaque that not even seasoned entertainment journalists can definitively say what sparked the storm. In less than 24 hours, the narrative shifted entirely, from admiration of their career milestones to dissecting body language, emotional expressions, and silence that speaks louder than words. IT began with a leaked video clip, brief but telling. Jimin was caught on camera, sitting alone backstage, tightly gripping his phone, visibly emotional. Meanwhile, Jungkook, known for his boundless charisma and unshakable composure, was seen wiping tears from his face in front of stunned fans and staff members. The footage spread like wildfire across X, formerly Twitter, Weverse, and TikTok. For a group that rarely reveals internal tensions, this moment broke the facade. Just hours later, Taehyung made a brief appearance on his Weverse account with a statement that added fuel to the fire instead of calming it. "I know you're worried. I'll speak in English at the right time. For now, let's all stay calm." But calm was the last thing the fans could maintain. What exactly did HYBE say to Jimin that sparked this cascade of emotions? A credible source familiar with the matter described the message as firm but deeply personal, suggesting that the communication was not merely administrative, but laden with emotion, urgency, and underlying tension. Speculation among fans and insiders suggests that the message may have been in response to a disagreement that occurred mere hours before the scheduled appearance. Reports indicate a private meeting took place involving HYBE's management and three members of BTS. Tensions reportedly flared regarding individual project priorities, artistic direction, and the perceived imbalance in support between members. In this context, Jimin allegedly voiced concerns over his solo promotions being overshadowed. This internal discord is not unprecedented in the K-pop world, but what makes this situation exceptional is its visibility and the emotional aftermath that was impossible to conceal. Jungkook's tears were not just symbolic, they were seismic. Longtime fans and observers know how rare such a moment is. For someone so dedicated, professional, and emotionally guarded to break down publicly, it signals the culmination of immense pressure, unspoken grievances, or possibly personal regret. His emotional unraveling wasn't just about that moment. It may have been the result of long-building tension between personal expectations, group responsibilities, and the crushing weight of global scrutiny. As the clip of Jungkook went viral, many began questioning why Taehyung wasn't seen with Jimin or Jungkook at the time. Historically, the three have appeared together often, and often shared lighthearted moments both online and off. But this time, Taehyung's absence was glaring. His delayed and vague response, though likely meant to soothe the situation, only heightened public anxiety. Was Taehyung trying to distance himself from the situation, or was he navigating the same emotional turmoil differently? His use of the phrase "the right time" led fans to wonder if a larger announcement or revelation was planned. Could there be a group-wide discussion underway that requires internal alignment before anything is disclosed? To complicate matters further, other insiders have revealed that prior to the incident, a heated discussion occurred regarding the future scheduling of solo projects, promotional priorities, and a perceived disparity in how much attention each member receives from management. One member reportedly expressed discontent about the imbalance in team support, and another, clearly affected by the rising tension, left the meeting early. Theories began to multiply rapidly. Was Jimin's solo work being sidelined? Did Jungkook, who has seen explosive success with his own solo activities, feel guilt or conflict? And did Taehyung's ambiguous silence stem from alignment with management or from his own emotional fatigue? Public reaction has ranged from confusion to outrage, with many fans demanding transparency from HYBE. The company's only statement so far has been vague. We respect our artists' privacy. All internal communication remains confidential. We ask for understanding. But that very silence is feeding a vortex of theories that range from interpersonal conflict to mental health concerns. Industry experts are starting to weigh in. Professor Kim Min-ju of Yonsei University, an expert in Korean pop culture, commented that such emotional outbursts are rare but highly telling. These are not just celebrities, they are human beings under extreme scrutiny. When the emotional dam breaks, it is often the result of prolonged silence. Psychologists such as Dr. Choi Yoon-suk also emphasize that emotional imbalance in creative groups is common, particularly when individual success starts to interfere with group cohesion. If one member feels unsupported or another feels burdened by disproportionate expectations, tension is inevitable. BTS has long stood as a symbol of harmony, persistence, and mutual respect. But even the strongest bonds can strain under the weight of constant global pressure. If internal communications were as serious and emotionally charged as described, this incident may mark the beginning of a necessary reckoning for how the group and their management navigate future transitions. Even fan communities have begun to fracture slightly, with some demanding formal explanations, while others call for space and empathy. Yet all seem united by one alarming truth. The moment Jungkook cried, something irreversibly shifted. Further digging by journalists revealed that the tension might have begun long before the public appearance. Over the past few months, fan observations have noted a decrease in public interaction between Jimin and Taehyung, something previously rare. Their visible closeness, once a pillar of fan affection, has subtly diminished. A fan on DC Inside posted, "They used to appear everywhere together. Lately, it's like they're deliberately apart." Is this merely coincidence, or is it a sign of deeper emotional distancing? HYBE's reluctance to provide clarification has only deepened the mystery. In a fast-paced entertainment world where silence can be as powerful as speech, the company's discretion is both strategic and dangerous. Every hour that passes without acknowledgement opens more space for public interpretation, often unfounded but rarely ignored. Some industry insiders suspect that Jungkook's breakdown was not just about the meeting or the moment, but a culmination of long-standing emotional buildup. As the group navigates individual careers, mandatory military service, and growing international responsibilities, the potential for emotional isolation grows. Dr. Lee Jae-hwan, an expert in crisis communication, noted, "When emotional needs are not addressed, even the smallest conflict can feel insurmountable." That's likely what happened here. Adding to the intrigue, a veteran journalist from Rolling Stone Asia described the incident as a red flag that should be addressed seriously, not just by management, but by fans who often hold idols to impossible standards. Will HYBE respond publicly? Will Jimin, Jungkook, or Taehyung issue a joint statement? Or will the silence continue, leaving space for endless speculation, shifting narratives, and fractured fan loyalty? For now, the public waits. But the weight of that weight grows heavier by the hour. In an industry where perception is power, even a single tear, especially Jungkook's, can rewrite the story of a global supergroup. And until the truth is addressed head-on, the world will continue to ask, what was in that message to Jimin? Why did Jungkook cry? And most of all, what really happened behind closed doors? BTS in crisis. Truth, Tears, and the Theater of Fame, a call for critical reflection. The recent series of events surrounding BTS, particularly involving Jimin, Jungkook, and Taehyung, has generated a seismic reaction across digital platforms, igniting discourse that oscillates between concern, conjecture, and confusion. While the emotional breakdown of Jungkook and the visibly distraught state of Jimin have stirred intense sympathy, the lack of official clarity has opened a treacherous path where speculation may easily be mistaken for truth. This report now enters an even graver phase of public inquiry. Are we truly witnessing an unfiltered glimpse into internal tension within BTS? Or are we, the public, being subjected to a carefully curated spectacle designed to manipulate emotional investment for media and commercial traction? Let us examine this question with the gravity it warrants. To begin with, it is imperative to underscore that the information proliferating across platforms such as TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, now X, Weverse, and lesser-known fan aggregators originates from an ecosystem where virality often supersedes veracity. The leaked clip of Jimin sitting alone backstage, clutching his phone with a visibly disturbed demeanor, while powerful in its emotional undertone, remains contextually ambiguous. Similarly, the footage of Jungkook in tears, while undeniably authentic in appearance, raises significant questions about its source, timing, and framing. One must ask, who recorded these moments? Why were they disseminated to the public? Who benefits from this leak? Such inquiries are not mere exercises in cynicism, but essential safeguards against intellectual complacency. In an era saturated with content engineered for reaction, the ability to distinguish between genuine emotional rupture and orchestrated performance is not just important, it is imperative. Furthermore, Taehyung's cryptic message, "I know you're worried. I'll speak in English at the right time. For now, let's all stay calm," while seemingly pacifying, may in fact represent a strategic deflection. The decision to use English and the emphasis on timing implies deliberate coordination, possibly with legal or managerial oversight. Could it be that this message was not spontaneous, but rather the output of a calculated damage control operation? Or is it, contrarily, a deeply personal appeal from an artist struggling to reconcile public expectations with private dissonance? At the heart of the speculation lies the alleged message sent by HYBE's management to Jimin, a communication described by insiders as firm but deeply personal. Yet, the lack of direct evidence makes it impossible to validate this claim with certainty. Was the message truly a reprimand? Was it perhaps a warning regarding future solo activities? Or even an attempt to quell internal dissent amid divergent career trajectories? Is it not dangerous to construct elaborate theories atop an edifice of invisible facts? Still, the narrative persists, fueled by the assumption that Jimin's solo endeavors are being subordinated in favor of other members, most notably Jungkook, whose solo career has garnered substantial commercial and critical acclaim. If this imbalance is indeed genuine, it raises profound questions regarding the equitable distribution of resources, attention, and agency within the group. However, no verifiable documentation or official confirmation exists to substantiate these assumptions. Thus, again, the public must confront an uncomfortable but essential question. Are we interpreting emotional expression as evidence of conflict because it aligns with our preconceived narratives? It is also necessary to examine the psychological toll of such intense public scrutiny. According to experts in performance psychology and group dynamics, extended periods of stress, unresolved interpersonal conflict, and the existential pressures of maintaining a unified brand identity can lead to breakdowns, both emotional and strategic. Yet, even this observation, while academically grounded, does not confirm the existence of actual discord. It merely underscores the possibility. We must also consider the mechanics of fame itself. BTS is not merely a music group. It is a global phenomenon, a multi-billion-dollar enterprise with overlapping interests across entertainment, fashion, diplomacy, and commerce. In this context, Can we truly claim to understand the emotional lives of its members based on curated public appearances and selective leaks? Is it not plausible, indeed probable, that the very structure of their fame renders moments of vulnerability both dangerous and, paradoxically, profitable? Reflect also on the nature of fan discourse. The digital response has ranged from impassioned defenses to ruthless theorizing, with fans dissecting body language, facial expressions, and timelines to construct theories that often contradict each other. The fragmentation of fan communities, once unified by admiration, now reveals a fissure wherein belief and doubt collide. Some accuse HYBE of emotional exploitation. Others accuse Jimin of insubordination. Neither accusation is founded on verifiable fact. Should the lack of clarity be blamed on HYBE or on our collective impatience for narrative closure? Moreover, one must critically interrogate the role of media platforms in amplifying hysteria. Algorithms reward emotional extremes, not reasoned analysis. In such an environment, a single tear can be transformed into a symbol of betrayal, collapse, or redemption, regardless of the truth. Influencers, fan accounts, and speculative YouTube channels churn out commentary that masquerades as reportage, preying upon uncertainty for clicks and engagement. Are we, the consumers, complicit in sustaining a machine that thrives on ambiguity and outrage? This leads us to a larger philosophical imperative: the need for skepticism. Not cynicism, which assumes bad faith, but skepticism, which demands evidence. It is easy, dangerously easy, to accept emotionally resonant narratives as truth, especially when they confirm our biases. But without corroboration, such narratives risk becoming myths, wielded not to illuminate but to manipulate. Therefore, we must ask ourselves, do we genuinely believe that this incident unfolded exactly as portrayed in fragmented online footage? Have we considered the possibility that this narrative, while emotionally persuasive, may be incomplete or even strategically misleading? What mechanisms exist to verify such events before we disseminate them further? In the absence of transparency, should we not withhold definitive judgment? It is the responsibility of every consumer of media to pause before reacting, to interrogate before believing, and to reflect before amplifying. Public emotion is powerful, but when weaponized without verification, it becomes a tool of distortion. The question of whether this incident marks the beginning of a rupture within BTS or a temporary moment of emotional vulnerability remains unresolved. In truth, it may never be resolved. Silence, as HYBE's vague statement demonstrates, is itself a strategic choice, an intentional void into which audiences project their hopes, fears, and suspicions and the final analysis. Perhaps the most dangerous outcome is not conflict within BTS, but the public's willingness to believe in conflict without proof. Emotional manipulation, whether intentional or incidental, is a risk inherent in all parasocial relationships. And unless we, as a global audience, cultivate habits of critical reflection, we become passive participants in a spectacle designed to move us, not to inform us. Therefore, this is not merely a story about three members of a globally adored group. It is a case study in how modern fame, digital immediacy, and public appetite converge to blur the line between reality and performance. To every reader, we pose the following imperative: think, reflect. Question: did this incident a glimpse of truth, or the performance of a crisis? Are we reacting to facts, or responding to a narrative designed to provoke? Have we demanded transparency, or merely consumed illusion, until answers are given, not assumed? The only responsible position is one of critical distance and ethical restraint. The world may watch, but it must not presume. And above all, it must not exploit. In the silence that follows Jungkook's tears and Jimin's solitude, in the ambiguity of Taehyung's message, lies not just a mystery, but a mirror. A mirror that reflects not only the pressures faced by idols, but the instincts of the public that idolizes them. To believe blindly is to abandon the responsibility of discernment. Let us not do so. Disclaimer: the content presented in this article is based on observations and reports sourced from various social media platforms: TikTok, YouTube, Twitter/X, Weverse, and fan discussions. As of the time of writing, no verified confirmation has been provided by the parties involved. The interpretations above are speculative in nature and should not be construed as factual claims. Readers are urged to think critically, assess information rigorously, and refrain from forming definitive conclusions without substantiated evidence. What do you believe? Is this crisis genuine or a constructed narrative? And if the truth remains hidden, how long will we continue to speculate? The time has come, not for judgment, but for reflection.